My name is Nate, and my story is here to help the world reimagine how we reclaim our right to pleasure and creativity. I grew up in a family with a lot of strong-willed women. They were powerful in my eyes while also being in the shadow of broken men. Whether it was for financial security or protection or even just genuine love, I'm not sure. The first acts of love that I remember viewing were given out of fear and resentment. Arguments turned into endless I'm sorries or gifts. I started to notice that in my family, the women's opinions were combated, questioned, or even picked apart. They were powerful women who needed to shake tables in order to be seen or heard. At a young age, I learned what desirability was. I learned it from family, classmates, and even teachers. How to speak in a way that would make people listen, how to dress in a way that would make people want to gravitate towards me. Submission was learned throughout various households and so many schools. My mother would tell me that knowledge is power, and my father etched into my brain that appearances mean everything. Hearing that felt like an omen that I would never surpass. Be the smartest for who? Look the best, but why? Little did I know that the who and the what would be white supremacy, and all the people that I would come across who were affected by it. But I was the example. I was the eldest daughter. My values were not my own in the eyes of religion, and my body, my mind, even my aspirations were not my own in the eyes of close family members. The childlike curiosity, the wonder, in my heart quickly hardened, so I became angry. I became angry at the world and vengeful to my mind and my body. I started to question again, why? Why am I even here? Was I created with love and care from my parents? Did their support systems even care for them? Asking these questions, making these connections made me sick. This was a generational problem. The pain, the poverty, the miscommunications, and even the power exchanges. I felt so buried beneath it with no hope in rising on top. In my teenage years, the resentment was combined with defiance. This created a version of me that looked for authentic love and yearned for understanding within everything. Due to previous sexual assaults in childhood, I viewed sex as a bridge for communication and expression. Transparency was foreign to me, and hypersexuality felt like control, religious guilt and shame. Women weren't supposed to enjoy sex. That's what I was taught. It's looked down upon, it's vulgar, it's sinful, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the intimacy. I enjoyed learning about what made my body feel good. Blurred lines and many questions related to my gender and sexuality led me into a deep depression around the age of 12. I'm the eldest. I'm the example. I felt like this could not be happening to me. The things that I felt in early childhood, I acted as if it never happened. I figured ignorance is bliss, but my bliss was just slowly killing me. I had no one that I even trusted to talk to. My bedrooms became my sanctuaries. The same place where I discovered my love for art and design was the same place where I developed an eating disorder and I battered my body. I just needed someone to hold space for me. I needed no assumptions and no judgments. The way that I expressed myself started many arguments with my mother. These arguments eventually turned into many fistfights. What did I want? I wanted to escape the life that I was born into and the body that I inhabited it. I felt too outspoken, I felt too opinionated, and I felt too much for the world and even myself. I ran away from my mother's house at 17 and entered the world of sex work soon after. Online or in-person sexual favors, I felt empowered. I felt as if I was reclaiming my body autonomy and controlling the decisions that I made surrounding it. Centering my sexuality and who had access to it. I would leave sessions with different questions about the world and Western society, whether for better or for worse. I started to realize that we, society members, are just following generational cycles while also trying to break them and forming new ones. I just wanted a cycle of safety in art. Stigmas and misconceptions related to erotic laborers left me with a lot of guilt and shame. I didn't feel like a deviant criminal, In fact, I felt connected to those who also felt misunderstood or undesirable. As a visual artist, I knew that different mediums are used in order to convey a message or spark ideas. Fashion, design, even figure modeling. But why isn't eroticism viewed the same way? Even with it being considered the oldest profession, it doesn't come without criminalization in the eyes of many policymakers. This feeds into the ignorant idea that all sex workers lack morals or ambition. This harmful rhetoric unfortunately leaves all erotic workers vulnerable to gender-based violence. I would love to live in a world where advocacy for sexual health and sex work is prioritized in the eyes of lawmakers, teachers, medical practitioners, and landlords. Transparent conversations need to be had and societal hierarchies need to be questioned. The fear of persecution, the fear of ostracization, and the fear of exploitation leaves many individuals like myself constantly finding loopholes in systems that should just be easily accessible. Housing access, mental health access, and harm reduction, to name a few.